Hey guys, I'm Fancy,
And I'm Colleen.
and this is Murder by Design. So good. That's such a catchy little tune.
It is. And we got the sound and the video working at the same time.
I know, right? Like I actually did something this time. I can't hear you. Hold on, let me put it there. Now I can. Okay, great.
Okay.
So anyway, guys, welcome back to our channel in 2021. I'm so excited. We hope everyone had a safe and happy holiday season, and we are so excited for all the amazing things we're going to bring to y'all in 2021. Tonight, we're starting a brand new crime of the month. It's a case that hit me hard the first time I heard about it. It's extremely controversial and very interesting. And we're talking about Skylar Richardson, the cheerleader teen mom who became the focus of a murder investigation of her own child. However, this is not your typical moms who kill type case. So let's get into it.
So Skylar Richardson, her legal name is Brooke Skylar Richardson, was an 18-year-old girl who was a high school senior in 2017. So this case is very recent. She was pretty, blonde, blue eyes, popular, smart, on a roll. She was a cheerleader, all-American girl, track team, so much ahead of her. And she's from Carlisle, Ohio, which is in a small suburb of Warren County, Ohio.
And allegedly, Skylar gave birth to a lifeless baby girl in a bathroom of her parents' home on the night of May 7th, 2017, while her parents and brother were asleep in the same house. Which I don't even know how she was able to do that, man. Like I would have been, I was screaming for the hills. So, I mean, like she's got some strength on her. She emerged from the bathroom with the deceased baby and went to the backyard where she proceeded to bury the baby. After she buried the baby, she went back inside and told nobody about what happened.
And in fact, Skylar actually spent most of her senior year pregnant. By May of her senior year, Skylar had put on some weight, only about 15 pounds throughout her entire pregnancy. The weight gain struck her family and friends as odd, but not a totally bad thing, because Skylar suffered from anorexia and bulimia, which are two very serious eating disorders, and suffered from body dysmorphia disorder. So obviously the last thing any one of her family and friends were going to talk to her was about her weight.
Mm-hmm. Right. So never thinking that she was going, she would be the type of girl to get pregnant. She was never asked about the added weight. She was excited about graduation. She had a new boyfriend and was accepted to college. And a lot of positive things were going on in her life. And those who knew her were thinking she finally overcame her eating disorders because she was feeling good about herself. The night of the prom, which was 2 days before she delivered the baby, she didn't even look pregnant. She didn't have a baby bump at all.
Right. And, I think a lot of that, and we'll talk about in our upcoming episodes, is because of her eating disorder, and how she carried, her weight and, the health of her pregnancy.
Right.
But those prom pictures were crucial in the trial because she looked almost identical to the size of the pictures that were taken when she went dress shopping that February and got this red sequin mermaid style tight fitting body lace up dress, and that was in February, and now it's May, and she's still fit.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of things play into this case, and, it's a very controversial case. Not only just on the part of there's question as to whether the baby was or was not stillborn. It's a case of was it or was it not actual murder? Was it premeditated? Was it not premeditated if it was murder? But also in the case of how the police handled the situation, expert witnesses were incorrect in many of the assessments that they made. So it's a very interesting case, and it's one that I really, it hit me because it was at first I was like, oh my God, I can't believe this child did this. But then, there's also, I've seen some interviews with the family and the home life. While I know she had a good what she thought was a good relationship with her parents. Obviously, she was very scared of disappointing them.
Yep.
That's why she didn't want to talk. There's a strange relationship there between the mother and the daughter, in my opinion. It's I don't know. I feel like it really it reminds me a bit of Casey Anthony's mother.
Kind of overly
Controlling
involved.
and involved, very controlling, very and I think it exactly. Stella says they look like the Cleavers, and I think that was one of the things, is like the outward the
Appearances were
outward
very,
appearance
yeah.
it was very important to this mom.
Right. You can see, their house. It is a big, beautiful house, pristine manicured landscaped lawn. The girls, they're blonde, blue eye, very beautiful. Sports, the son's on the football team. Just it's a very, especially for Ohio, picturesque family. So I can definitely understand how, this girl would be afraid to even say anything. Obviously, so apparently Skylar didn't find out she was pregnant until she was 8 months pregnant. And then, people will say, oh, well, she missed her period. Well, she had 2 eating disorders. People with eating disorders don't get that pregnant.
Sports. And played sports. So many of them don't have menstrual cycles like everyone else. I personally, it took me a while to figure out that I was pregnant because I wasn't supposed to be able to have children. I have PCOS. We've talked about that a lot. I had been told that because of the one miscarriage that I did have, that it would be damn near impossible. I'd need to take all kinds of fertility drugs and everything. So there was no thought process in my head when I took a job, and there was like 3 pregnant women, and everybody was like, don't drink the water, you'll get pregnant. I was like, no, I'm good. I'm good. And lo and behold, I was already pregnant and didn't know it. So, but there are there are a variety of reasons, especially when you're talking sports, active girls that are, cheerleaders, track runners, volleyball, all the different ones, they don't have them a lot of times. And then on top of that, they, then like you said, the eating disorders, those are all things that can play into whether or not, and if she was not gaining a lot of weight, she might not have really realized anything until the baby started being very actively moving. But she got no prenatal care. I think she was in denial. I think that, and at that point it was too late for her to do anything about it,
As a current pregnant woman, pretty much all fetal development is in those first 4 months. Everything else after that is, the baby is growing and continuing to get bigger, but, all of any deformities or major health problems all happen in the beginning. And when she was, 90 pounds soaking wet and didn't think she was pregnant. And, I think, from what research I did, she had went in to get birth control, and she had turned 18. So her mom, wasn't going in with her.
Right.
And, they told her, hey, you're 8 months pregnant, you're, and I think at that point it's frightening. But then, when we'll get into it with the aspects of, her stillborn daughter, and what happened that night. I agree with the doctors for the defense on that. There was no way that baby was born alive. They said, the color of it, there was no umbilical cord attached. It must have detached prior. And the no prenatal care for an eating disorder patient for 8 months, 9 months, just signals bad things. And especially a girl who has mental health problems. And, afterwards she was diagnosed with, a disorder of wanting to please people, which makes sense if you look at her parents. She confessed to something she didn't do because the cops said that it put it in her head and she wanted to just make the cops happy. And so a girl with mental health problems, scared, didn't know what to do. Did she do the right thing? Absolutely not. But, I don't think she's, guilty of murder.
Well, I mean, like Sensible Crimes is, I don't think we'll ever know if the baby was born alive because of the decomposition. I agree with that. I think that there is a possibility that the baby could have been alive for a brief moment, but I don't believe that it was, I don't think it was a sustainable life. I don't think that the baby
Right.
was going to live. And this is something that I talked with Stella about, because Stella did a lot of the research for us on on this case. She's been doing a lot of the research for our Crime of the Month cases to give
Mhm.
us time to focus on some of the other things that we're working on. And we talked about it last night, and she asked me, well, what do you think did happen? I said, well, even if the baby wasn't stillborn, I don't think that she knew that it wasn't stillborn. Because if you think about it, when my daughter was born, my first daughter, she didn't cry right away. She had the umbilical cord wrapped around her neck, so she did not, she was not getting the air. Many babies are congested and they have to suck the stuff out before the baby cries. Well, if you don't know that, and so she's thinking, my baby's not crying. This baby is not crying. It's dead. It's not breathing. It's dead, because technically it's not. It's not breathing. It's not breathing properly. It's not crying. So, that right there tells me that even if the baby was alive in some sense, without care, it wasn't going to sustain itself. So even if it wasn't considered stillborn by what, the standards of life, but if she just thought, oh my God, it's not breathing, it's not making any noise. And then the next thing was a bad decision. She decided to do what she thought was the best thing, was just, okay, I'm just going to, nobody knows. I'm just gonna put her in the ground. And she left a little grave site, like a little kind of like pseudo thing for her, so she would know and remember her. And then went back to the life. And I think about what a scared kid she had to have
Yep.
been to go through all of that by herself. So we're going to get into all of that over the next couple of weeks. We're really excited about this case and being able to talk with you about it. I am going to bring some of the stuff to present the side of, is she guilty? Was she really guilty? Did she really intend to do it? I intend to bring some of that stuff this time. Last time Colleen got to be the bad guy. Maybe this time I'll get to be the bad guy. Now, I don't necessarily believe those things, but I do want those.
Bring it
I
up.
do want to give the opportunity to bring it up and give our viewers the opportunity to make decisions. I
Mhm.
feel like a lot of times only one side of a case is ever presented in the media. And that is one of the things that we witnessed in the Gypsy case. We've witnessed it in several other cases. So one of the things that we're always wanting to do is bring the truth, the whole truth, and not just the truth that everybody wants to hear.
Well, right. When I watched, what was it, 2020
Mhm.
episode on this, something that
Mhm.
they didn't talk about, but it went through my head. They briefly mentioned who the baby's father was,
Mhm.
which is not the boyfriend, you know,
No.
and it was like, oh, nobody's going to talk about that. Maybe it was was this a
Mhm.
thought, that, well, it's not my boyfriend's baby. Like, no one, to me in the episode, nobody talked about that. And again, like, I don't think she purposely, killed her baby. I think it was stillborn, or, died very, very quickly after birth. But like, you got to talk about those kind of things,
Mhm.
because then that came to
Right.
my head, and I'm like, then you start thinking about, well, the
Mhm.
boyfriend, would he have been angry? This was a friend's cousin.
Right.
Was
Would he have been supportive? Right. Right.
right? Am I still friends with that friend or that
Mhm.
cousin? What would they have said? You know,
Mhm.
is this going to ruin my plans with my boyfriend? Those things have to be talked about.
Mhm.
To yeah, the parents of the former boyfriend sued the baby's remains. Yeah,
It's just,
problems.
this is a really heartbreaking case, but it was one that I really felt we needed to discuss at some point,
Yeah,
especially since we are really working with Amanda to bring a more psychological focus to some of these cases that we talk about. I think I'm going to actually have her join us for one of the episodes to kind of give some of the psychological aspects of teen moms and this kind of crime, and what she was probably feeling, and even how the disorders of play, the eating disorders play into this. So we've got a lot to talk about on this case. So I think that we have something really interesting to bring to the table that you guys aren't just going to hear out in the regular true crime media.
right.
So
And I've suffered from eating disorders half my whole life, and I'm currently pregnant. So bring you some inside feelings.
Yeah.
From the
Um,
womb.
Well, guys, so this is the introduction. We will be doing 3 more episodes on Monday nights at 8 p.m. Eastern. Uh, then Tuesday nights is now going to be a live talk with me and Amanda that's going to be dedicated to psych kind of stuff with criminal psychology. I'm really excited about that. I think that's going to be something that's really different than what other people are out there doing. And then, of course, we've got our tidbits, and Colleen is going to start kicking off her Bonehead Criminal of the Week. And then we're also, back on Friday nights. We've got some great lineup coming out of the gate with the Friday night talks and interviews, some cold cases, some different cool
Thanks,
stuff that we'll
Stella.
be talking about. Um, and then obviously, Gone Cold is out there. We're going to run Gone Cold all the way up twice a month through April. And at the end of January, we come back with the 3rd season of The Good Wives Guide to True Crime. And you're not going to want to miss that because
Nope.
it is incredible. So I think that there's so much that we've got coming forward for you guys. You're going to be excited about. Go check out, if you have not checked out, the head-to-head between me and Colleen, our 4-part episode of the season finale of last season of The Good Wives. We are still taking people giving us their verdicts to win the little gift prize basket that we have put together for you guys. And we've got a bunch of new merchandise coming out soon. So there is going to be so much you guys are going to get coming forward in 2021.
2021,
So,
looking forward.
oh yeah, and my I will give you the exact date and time, but my A&E special on Gypsy and Nick that I did with Long Crime Network will be out in February, guys. So I'm super excited. But anyway, thanks so much for tuning in and dishing true crime with the Good Wives and Murder by Design. Don't forget to join our Patreon member club to get exclusive mini episodes, inside documents, and pictures from the cases we talk about, live YouTube discussions, our exclusive discussion group on Facebook, and get some amazing merchandise.
And follow us on Twitter and Instagram at True Crime Wives. And for more inside information, check out our podcast, The Good Wives Guide to True Crime, on any of your favorite podcast players. And check out our website, madgingerentertainment.com.
Everything is on there. Our blogs are on there. We're now on Vocal Plus as well, guys. So we're pretty excited about that. Amanda just started her first blog piece. I posted about that on our socials and on my own personal page. So if you're seeing this, go ahead and check out the blog she did. It's really, really good. But anyway, have a good one from the Good Wives, serving up true crime one dish at a time.
Sound.